Wave to the camera, everyone.
Your 3 audience members.
Yes, 1, 2, 3. All right.
All right, let's do this.
Good morning. My name is Sergeant Jones, Courtney Jones, and I'm here to inform you on one of the most tragic and famous accidents to ever happen in history, the sinking of the Titanic. Morgan Robertson was an American writer that wrote The Wreck of the Titan. It was about a ship that was deemed to be unsinkable and ended up hitting an iceberg and killing hundreds of people along the way because of the fact that it did not have enough lifeboats to rescue everyone. What's ironic about this story is that it was actually written 14 years before the Titanic was ever thought of. Now we will discuss the dimensions, capabilities, and amenities of the Titanic. The Titanic was 882 feet long and 46,000 tons. That's 15,000 tons heavier and 100 feet longer than any vessel to this day. It could accommodate 2,345 people along with 860 of its crew members. The elegant accommodations of the Titanic were skillfully furnished and decorated with the finest items that money could buy. The first class accommodations equaled the finest hotels on shore. The extravagant parlor suites came with 2 bathrooms, a sitting room, 2 wardrobe rooms, and a private bath. It also came with a swimming pool, a squash court, a dart room, and a Turkish bath. Because of these advanced features, the Titanic was deemed one of the safest vessels on the planet, the safest vessel. It was a double bottom vessel. That means it had 2 hulls, the outer layer and the inner layer. So it was constructed so if one hull got breached, the inner hull will stop all the water from entering any of the compartments within the ship. The ship came with 16 compartments. They came with automatic watertight doors that would automatically shut if water entered the compartment. Now that we've discussed the dimensions, capabilities, and amenities of the Titanic, we'll move on into the events that happened on that particular night of the accident. The Titanic left Queenstown, Ireland, headed towards New York on 10 April 1912 at 1:30 p.m. On the 4th day of the voyage, on 14 April 1912 at 11:40 p.m., the Titanic struck the iceberg. Immediately, 5 of the 16 compartments filled with water, and the boat began to sink. They shot flares, they sent out distress signals signaling for help, but no one was close enough so that they can get to them in time to save everyone. While the ship was sinking, few were rescued because they didn't have anywhere to go. They had 20 lifeboats on the ship, in which accommodated not even half of the 2,200 that was on board. As a result, 1,522 people died that night. At 2:20 a.m., the ship finally snapped in half and sunk to the bottom of the ocean. At 4:10 a.m., help finally arrived to rescue the people that made it to the lifeboat. Now that we've discussed the events that happened on the night of the crash, we'll discuss the success of the movie and the events that led up to the movie. James Cameron wrote and directed the movie The Titanic. He spent 6 months doing research on the movie, and he conducted 12 different dives down to the actual site of the Titanic under the sea. They had a $250 million budget for this particular film, in which they spent they made a $17 million oceanfront tank with an exact actual size replica of the Titanic in it to give the image of the ship being in the ocean in the movie. The opening scene was pretty special because of the fact that it was actual footage from one of James Cameron's dives doing his research for the movie. The movie ended up being a smash hit. The movie earned $600 million in the United States, making it the #1 movie of all time, and $1.8 billion worldwide, also making it the #1 movie of all time. It received 8 Golden Globe nominations. They eventually won 4, and they received 14 Academy Award nominations, winning 11. In conclusion, I discussed the dynamics, the capabilities, and the amenities of the Titanic. Also, we covered the events that happened on the night of the crash, and the movie and the success that it had. What really stood out to me was the book, The Wreck of the Titan. All the events that led up to the sinking of the Titan happened to the Titanic. And if the engineers would have been less cocky, they would have respected nature a little more, knowing that if water enters a vessel, it's going to continue to fill in until the boat sinks to the bottom. So with that being said, they should have had more respect for nature. This concludes my speech.